class sponsors, we want to welcome you to graduation ceremony for the class of 2022. Tonight, we will honor the graduates and their accomplishments through the awarding of diplomas.
Please mind your step, as the ground is likely uneven with many dips and mounds. Please exercise extreme caution as you traverse the field. This event is being live streamed and the recording will remain available online.
Please remember that though we are outside, this is not a football stadium nor a pep rally. This evening's event is first and foremost a ceremony of honor and prestige. Please honor the protocol connected to this evening's graduation ceremony and act with a proper decorum, so that all of the speakers can be heard and we can enjoy the opportunity to clearly listen to our graduates' well wishes.
Please pay close attention to the calling of your student's group letter. Joining your student at the stage is voluntary. If you join your student, we need you to quickly return to your seat after your student crosses the stage. If you need assistance, please ask someone in a bright gold Panther shirt. Hi faculty, thank you so much for being here. When your daughter, son, or friend receives her or his diploma, please honor that student with respect this event. Any loud noises will take attention away from that student or from the student that follows. Please refrain from the use of bullhorns, noisemakers, or loud whistles. Please hold all recognitions and applause until all of the names have been called and all the diplomas have been awarded. After the last name is called, there will be a conferral of graduates. Please do not leave until after the conferral of graduates. Once again, we welcome you to tonight's graduation ceremony for the class of 2022. Thank you for attending and becoming part of this important event in the lives of our students. Now, will everyone please remain in your seats for the procession of graduates and then rise for the posting of colors and the singing of the national anthems. tell everyone to rise. Tell everyone to rise for this. Go tell everyone to rise.
Please rise for the posting of the colors and the singing of the national anthems. Please be seated. welcome, class of 2022. My name is Caden Bergman, Student Council President. These past 2 years have been tumultuous, to say the least, for the Stuttgart High School senior class of 2022. Years defined by once-in-a-century pandemics and unprecedented political international events have presented an array of challenges. The class of 2022, however, did not let the reality of the present hinder their cumulative motivation to succeed. In the past 2 years, this class has learned and embraced tolerance and flexibility, allowing for engaging events to be done in a redesigned and truly innovative way. We have worked with each other and planned multiple class events in order to enhance our Panther spirit. It is crucial to say that none of this would have been possible without the unwavering support from faculty, staff, and administration at our school, people who are integral to our class's phenomenal high school experience. Although there have been bumps along the way, the resilience and adaptability of the Stuttgart High School senior class of 2022 have redefined our high school experience, making it an exciting and unforgettable time of our lives. It goes without saying that the lessons we have learned within the concrete walls of our school will remain with us as we progress through life. Now please welcome Nathaniel Jennings and Jared Galerter for a moment of thankfulness.
Good evening. I'm Nate Jennings, your Student Council Vice President.
And I am Jared Galerter, your senior class of 2022 Vice President.
We would like to begin our ceremony with an attitude of gratitude by extending a heartfelt thank you to everyone who made today possible, especially several organizations that played major roles.
To the Stuttgart Combined Spouses Club, thank you for your generosity in donating to our seniors. You continually go above and beyond to ensure that our students have what they need. Specifically, this event and those leading up to it would not be what it is today without your donation. To the Harriet R. Tubman Foundation, thank you for your special treatment of the students of Stuttgart High School, especially the class of 2022. You constantly go above and beyond for us, and we are so grateful for your love and continued support of all students at SHS. Thank you for always working to make us smile.
To the Stuttgart USO, thank you for supporting to the senior class of 2022 in numerous ways. We deeply appreciate your kindness and thoughtfulness.
To the numerous Garrison agencies who continue to join us year after year in celebrating and honoring our seniors.
To the U.S. Army Garrison Stuttgart, thank you. Without the support of numerous agencies, today would not have been possible. Command has supported this class in so many ways, including the Command Office, the DES, the Safety Office, our SLO, Mr. Brian, thank you, got allergies, grass, our SLO, Mr. Brian Pappas, and so many more, thank you.
To all of our photographers today, thank you for supporting the class of 2022, for making all photographs from today available free of charge to families.
To Mr. Beeman and to Mr. Fisher, thank you for helping us present and share the best version of this event so that we can capture the moments that will last in our memories.
To DODEA Europe and Stuttgart High School, it is your constant trust in us and support of us that makes us truly successful. Thank you for seeing what our kids needed and helping us to make this a reality. Teachers and faculty, we could not be here without your support in so many ways. Thank you. Specifically, thank you to our administrators, our faculty volunteers here tonight, teachers that support all senior events throughout the year, and Mr. Kopstick for his tireless work on the graduation program.
To the Stuttgart High School Senior Parent Association, present and future, this year was truly phenomenal and in a large part due to your support. Parents, you have stepped up in so many ways, answering emails, phone calls, and personal outreach to bake, decorate, create, volunteer, and so much more. None of what we have accomplished this year could have happened without you. Outgoing President, Ms. Kavanaugh, and incoming President, Ms. Dolby, your enthusiasm and dedication to our students is inspiring. Thank you for going above and beyond.
To the senior class of 2022, thank you. Thank you for sticking with it. You have shown true leadership, grit, perseverance, determination, and humor. You have helped us find our smiles when we wanted to hang our heads in defeat. You have motivated us to persist through trying times, to make this place a better place for you. Thank you for being brave and being here with us today, the culmination of your education career thus far. You did it. We couldn't be more proud. We hope we made you proud.
To the sponsors of the senior class of 2022, thank you for your constant work to make this year special. Your heart for your students is always evident, and we are so grateful to have you as our sponsors, Team Berkman.
There's never enough time to thank absolutely everyone, but please know that no matter who you are or what role you played in today, we are grateful for you and indebted to you for your support of the class of 2022. Thank you.
Hello and welcome to the graduating class of 2022, and to the parents, who I'm sure are much more excited to have made it here today. As probably the least qualified speaker you will hear from today, I feel honored to present the opening speech for this class. In fact, I wasn't even really supposed to be giving this speech, as some thought my lack of filter would not be appropriate in this setting. Who would have thought? However, this is why I think it is important for me to be standing in front of you all today. Throughout this day, you are going to hear speeches from some of the most intelligent and talented people I have ever met. And then there's me. But today is not just about celebrating the brightest and the best, or those with the most medals or tassels. Today is about everyone. Today is about the achievements of each and every person on this field. Everyone here has something worth celebrating. We have all been through monumental changes and have grown immensely in the quest for individuality that is high school. So for just one moment, I would like to take away the idea of a GPA, a class rank, the SAT, everything we once held in such high regard as students, and instead come to see us all equally, as graduates, young adults, finished with the first step of adulthood. Truly, congratulations to everyone here, and best of luck to you all. I'll see you at the top. Now, for my much more decorated counterpart, Jared Galerter. Thank you.
Thank you, Nate. Graduation is a milestone. And like any milestone, birthday, anniversary, or New Year, one of the most valuable aspects of graduation is its ability to pull you out of the present, to detach you from reality temporarily. After taking this step back, you have several choices. You can swim against the tide of time, reliving past experiences and celebrating the support you have received along your journey. You can swim forward with the current, creating new horizons to chase in your mind. Or you can stop swimming and tread water briefly. You can lift your head from the crashing waves, clear the sound of the sea from your ears, and check your bearings. Are you headed in the right direction? Are you swimming with the right people? Is the land in the distance the one you seek? During this celebration of past achievement and future promise, remember that while time will bear you unceasingly forward, yours is the choice of course, of companions, and ultimately, of destination. Now, please enjoy a welcome message from Henry Reniger, President of the Stuttgart High School Senior Class of 2022.
Thank you, Nate and Jared. A lot of you might agree that we, as a graduating class, have grown up with a different life than most. At Stuttgart High School, we have no single area code from which we come from. If you look to the person next to you, will you see someone you've known since kindergarten? Or someone you might be going to school with next year? The answer is almost always no. We are unique for having that quality about us. This stage that I stand on now sits a couple miles away from my house, yet 4,500 miles away from my home. The distances that many of you in the audience have traveled to be here today is astronomical, and I know every senior graduating is exceptionally appreciative of your presence. I also know that a lot of us are moving, again, this summer. And a lot of us are also staying. But we're used to moving, right? As military kids, we are trained to accept the fate of leaving the life we find in each new place we go. This high school is different in the sense that there are only a handful of us who have been here since freshman year, let alone middle school. Every year, there is always a collective of people who part ways from this incredible city we live in. And this year, it's us. This celebration of 4 years of academic success that we all have come here today to be recognized for is, for many of us, our finale to a life over here, whether living in Stuttgart has lasted for a couple months or 18 years. In a community that embodies constant change, we are going through the greatest of change standing on this stage. Nothing is absolute. Everything changes, everything moves, everything revolves, everything flies and goes away. This quote from the great 20th century painter Frida Kahlo typifies the generational understanding of change. We exist as individual stars in a night sky that constantly shift as time goes on. Every star is located at different coordinates in the universe, and it is nearly impossible to know where each one comes from just by looking up at the sky. Looking out at all of you, I couldn't tell you where each and every one of you come from either. But the one thing I do know is that none of us are from the same place. As celestial bodies, you all have a long story to tell about your life in the universe. You've danced around the night sky your whole life, with your family as the planets in the solar system that surround and protect you. As the Earth turns, so do the stars. Eventually, we fall out of view from the night sky as we hit the horizon. The stars that once shined brightly move on to their next destination. Just as you can't force the stars to align, dawn is inevitable. The stars that are left will dim as the advent of daylight creeps in its path. This summer is the dawn to our new lives. We have reached the daylight that allows us to change as people and as students. Wherever you might be next year, the stars will look different from there. And after all, it isn't the stars that move. Changing your perspective on the ground makes every illuminated star transform. But in this brief moment that we can look up at the sky, the myriad of stars we call the Stuttgart High School class of 2022 is all in one place, crowding the night sky in perfect constellations. We are here until we are not. We are high school students until we are not. We are children until we are not. There is a universe of change that is waiting for us, but we are ready for it. Thank you, class of 2022, and I hope to see your light shine more brightly than ever when I gaze up to see the spectacle that we are in the sky. Thank you.
Thank you, Henry. I'm Liv Solins, the 2022 CWE VOS Outstanding Senior Award recipient. It is my honor to welcome to the stage U.S. Army Garrison Stuttgart Commander, Colonel Ziegler. Colonel Ziegler received his commission upon graduation from the University of Montana in 1998 and has been leading USAG Stuttgart since the summer of 2021. We appreciate his unyielding support of Stuttgart High School and the families and students of our Stuttgart military community. Welcome, Colonel Ziegler.
Many thanks. Hey, greetings, class of 2022. As I thought about what I was going to say this afternoon, I realized that your life over the last 4 years could be really defined by 2 words, and that's uncertainty and flexibility. 4 years ago, when your freshman year started, you were faced with the uncertainty that every new high school student faces. Will I fit in? Will I be able to handle academics? Will I try out for any sports? Will I keep my old friends or make new ones? These questions defined your first year in high school and forced you to learn how to adapt, how to be flexible in a new and dynamic environment. Your sophomore year dawned and you were feeling a little bit more confident. You thought you knew that what high school looked like and you were ready to conquer it. However, uncertainty set in again in the form of a global pandemic. Would COVID spread to where you lived? Would your school stay open? Would this impact your life? Your flexibility was pushed to the limit as in-person schools closed and online schools opened up. You had to adapt to new schedules, new methods, and a lack of face-to-face friend time. By junior year, you were starting to live your life under these new circumstances. The uncertainty came as a constant not knowing. Not knowing if one of your friends or family members would get sick, not knowing if school would be open or go back virtual, not knowing if sports would be played or if they could be played, would anyone be able to watch, not knowing if the Garrison was going to cancel Halloween. Yet again, you adapted. You learned to be flexible and sometimes daily changes to COVID regulations and requirements. I'm sorry. You endured. Finally, you were seniors. You have been the first senior class in 3 years to complete the entire school year in person. Mostly vaccinated and with a mostly open Europe, life was now returning to normal. Then uncertainty came in the form of war in Europe. As Russian aggression mounted, many of your parents worked long hours, were forced to skip milestone events and cancel long forward vacations. And yet you endured. Your flexibility has enabled you to adapt with this changing environment. This skill, being flexible in times of uncertainty, will serve you well as you venture out into the world. The only certainty in life is that uncertainty is all around us. You have mastered how to handle it. I am incredibly proud of you and happy to share this day with you. Congratulations on all of your accomplishments. Thanks.
Thank you, Colonel Ziegler. I am Caitlin Folkers, a high school award of distinction recipient for my work editing the 2022 yearbook. Our next speaker is our very own DODEA East Superintendent, Mr. Steve Sanchez. Mr. Sanchez is a huge fan of Stuttgart High School, a fearless advocate for students, and was himself a principal of Patch American High School. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our Superintendent, Steve Sanchez.
Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I have the honor of being the Europe East District Superintendent with 31 schools and 15,000 amazing students. Additionally, today, DODEA is celebrating our 75th year of graduating our seniors. Please give yourselves a hand, seniors. You're the 75th. As I thought about the 2022 graduations and what they mean to me, the themes that keep coming to mind are resilience and gratitude. And I was really touched to hear Nate and Jared talk about gratitude and how the students feel. Over the past 2+ years, our students have endured wearing masks, social distancing, and isolating for days at a time in ROM. None of these are normal activities for human beings. However, human beings are resilient, and our soon-to-be graduates epitomize resilience. They've demonstrated resilience in the face of so many obstacles over the past 2 years and still have found a way to be successful. Military kids have a long history of encountering challenges and overcoming them with courage and grace. These seniors have lived in multiple places, as Henry mentioned, and attended multiple schools as they support their parents. And when you factor in the thriving in a COVID environment, you begin to understand how truly remarkable they are. And as proud as I am of our seniors tonight, I'm also very grateful. I'm grateful to the faculty and staff of Stuttgart High School, led by Mr. Reniger and his admin team, for providing an exceptional education and a high school experience for our students. During these challenging times, so many adults have stepped forward to take good care of our kids. Thank you, parents, for entrusting your students with us. And I would like to especially thank the entire Stuttgart community, led by our Garrison commander, Colonel Matt Ziegler. All of our Garrison commanders find ways to yes when it comes to our students and their well-being. And I'm deeply grateful to Colonel Ziegler and his team. Congratulations, class of 2022. We're looking forward to all the great things you will do in all that you will accomplish. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Sanchez. It is an honor to be part of the Europe East family. I am Gwendolyn Russ, a 2022 Stuttgart High School Award of Distinction recipient. I am here to welcome one of our favorite people, a person who has been with many of us for 4 years and 7 years for some. He's never going to give you up. He's never going to let you down. Please help me give a warm welcome to Mr. Rick Reniger, Stuttgart High School principal.
Wow, thank you, Gwen. Gwen and I go back about 10 years, and she is correct. I go back a long way with many of you. I have been extraordinarily lucky to spend 7 years with some and 4 years with most. It is awesome. This is really rare in DODEA for a principal to spend up to 7 years with a group of students and then see them off in their graduation. And I am not sure how or why I was given such a great gift to share so many years with you. What I can tell you, parents and students and guests, is that this is the best group of students that I have ever known. Class of 2022, you have come so far and you have learned so much. And I am completely confident that academically you have what you truly need to change this world for the better. But outside of academics, you also have learned to be culturally aware, tolerant, resilient, inquisitive, imaginative, humble, and so much more. Class of 2022, you have what you need for your next adventure. As this is our last opportunity to be together, I have the honor to give you a few words of advice. I would like to tell you the one thing that I have lived by for my 25 years in the ed biz. Take every opportunity you get to care for others. Do this for them and for you. Because everybody, all of us, needs encouragement, needs affirmation, and needs a smile and a kind word. Everybody needs to be listened to and to be respected and know that they are not alone in this world. This is good for them and it makes the world a better place for all of us. I hope you remember this. It's your very last high school lesson, so one that you probably already knew. Class of 2022, it has been the greatest honor to be part of your years at Stuttgart High School. I am grateful for all of the trust that you have had in me, and I will never forget the journey we have shared. We won't say goodbye in DODEA. We never say goodbye. We say see you later. Remember that you are a Panther, now and forever. And although you are moving on, Stuttgart High School, your alma mater, will always open its doors to welcome you. You are a part of the school, and I hope that Stuttgart High School is always in your hearts. I will end my comments in a familiar way, and that is to say, be great, be amazing, be kind, and on behalf of the faculty and staff, Godspeed, Class of 2022. We love you very, very much, and you will never be forgotten.
Greetings, honored guests, parents, family members, guardians, friends, and most importantly, the 2022 Stuttgart High School graduates. Whew. From the tender age of 4, Andrew's foremost passion has been football, commonly referred to as soccer by us Americans. Andrew loves football. Did I mention the football part? When he's not on the field playing the sport for our high school team or his German team, he's either playing FIFA soccer and or streaming his FIFA content. By the way, TikTok at NoTav, that's all caps, with 50K followers. Or he is studying the game intently by watching matches, in person and on TV. Andrew was a 4-year varsity soccer player and spectacularly led the high school team this year as our captain. But aside from football, what makes Andrew truly special is that his talents do not lie merely at his feet, but rather in his intellect and his character. His dedication to his classes and interest in learning have always been a priority for him. Although he makes school look easy by elegantly, flip the hair, balancing his studies with sports and social activities. For those closest to Andrew, he is known for his dry wit, logical analysis, and rational debates. He plans to further study computer science and media communications, which I am certain he will excel at, and I would not be surprised if we see Andrew on TV or in the news someday channeling this passion. Still, I believe Martin Luther King captured this best. The ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, right there, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy. Unfortunately, I was with Andrew as his 4-year high school dream of leading the Stuttgart Panthers to their first ever European Boys Soccer Championship was agonizingly denied as we lost by one single unlucky goal. Yet there was Andrew in the team chat immediately after, thanking his coaches and his teammates for a wonderful season. Andrew is an amazing person and is with full confidence that I can say he's a good person in good times and bad. It is my honor to introduce Andrew Wagner, your Stuttgart High School 2022 Salutatorian.
Thank you, Mr. Bowman. First and foremost, it is an honor to receive such a prestigious award today. I would like to thank my teachers, my friends, my parents and sister, as well as both sets of my grandparents for their endless support. They are ultimately the reason that I am up here today. I would also like to welcome all parents, faculty, my fellow graduates, and distinguished guests. To the parents specifically, I would like to congratulate you on the graduation of your wonderful children in the class of 2022, of whom you should be very proud of. This class is an incredibly special one, which has overcome unprecedented obstacles throughout high school. Being forced to drop everything dead center in our high school careers due to the pandemic, living in a foreign country with an entirely different set of rules, being separated from colleagues and school, and enduring long periods of distance from our friends, albeit some enjoyable distance from homework as well. We have been shaped into resilient individuals who take nothing for granted. This class, at a very young age, has learned the values of discipline, adaptability, perseverance, and procrastination. We'll work on that last part later on. But for now, we should positively reflect on our accomplishments with pride and gratitude. As we receive our diplomas tonight and experience a formal conclusion to this stage of our lives, I would like to encourage everyone to seek out and pursue your innate passions that you've begun to discover throughout high school. We have the world at our fingertips, living in the best possible time period in history to express independent and deliberate energy toward anything that we want. Yet every mental health statistic tells us that we are increasingly less happy. Never underestimate yourself and your capabilities, and never underestimate the value of your own happiness. Trust me, I'm no perfect example myself. I went into high school as a 14-year-old aiming to, well, graduate high school, hopefully make the JV soccer team, and most importantly, post pictures of my Fortnite wins on my Snapchat story. I quickly realized, however, that if I valued my academic and athletic passions, if I took classes that sparked at least a tiny fraction of intrigue in me, I would be capable of much more than I had ever imagined. I'm no rocket scientist, I'm not an Olympian, but I made the decision to play for 2 soccer teams simultaneously, and I deliberately sought out interest in all of my classes, aside from history, that challenged my curious mind. Sorry to any history teachers out there, it isn't your fault that your subject serves as a great alternative to melatonin. In all seriousness, I hope that everybody sitting here in their cap and gown tonight will recognize and channel their passions toward a new chapter of life marked by fulfillment and happiness. even you history majors. My decision to do exactly that is why I have the privilege to deliver this speech and gain unforgettable experiences like captaining the varsity soccer team to a European final, or even more miraculously, passing AP Calculus. Whatever your post-high school plans are, whether you're still exploring your interests at a university, pursuing a military career, or taking a gap year to catch up on all the sleep you've lost in the past 4 years, I hope that you chase something that makes you excited about life and motivates you to get out of bed in the morning. Everyone here deserves a life of internal fulfillment, but you must each remember that you are the only one who can provide that for yourself. In 10, 20, maybe even 50 years from now, I hope that we can look back at this stage in our lives with a clear and hopefully fond memory of the dreams we had and the person that we were in high school. The halls of this school will bring a smile and possibly even a tear to even the most stoic graduates among us. But luckily, we have plenty of time until we must live to tell that tale. Stuttgart High School, class of 2022, thank you and congratulations.
So, forgive me if I have a little stage fright. The last time I spoke, you were all sitting in parked cars or online, and now I'm going to actually find out if I'm funny or not, so it's a little worrisome. So greetings, graduates, parents, guardians, honorable guests, and teachers. It is esteemed, and of course, the class of 2022. It is an esteemed honor to present to you today the class of 2022's valedictorian, Mr. Isaac Martin. Isaac has been my student too many times these past 2 years. Isaac and I have seen each other nearly every day, with Isaac choosing to be my student twice last year, and again twice this year. Then comes seminar on top of that, and you can quickly see why Isaac is almost family, even going so far as to ask for every update on my baby daughter Emma possible. Having taught his sister Chloe years before, Isaac is very much his own person with a clear sense of who he is. As a new parent and a longtime teacher, it can easily be said each student, each child is different, even from their own siblings. During his 10th birthday, Isaac was visiting a museum in Frankfurt with him and his friends deciding, as normal 10-year-olds do of course, to plot out his next 8 years. From that birthday, he crafted the plan, the intensity, and the drive to become valedictorian. I was not thinking that at 10 years old. It does leave to speculate if his planning, it does leave to speculate if in his planning he had already committed to taking AP seminar or AP research yet, specifically with me, but because he had already decided to take an unhealthy amount of AP courses for his high school career, I received the pleasure of becoming Isaac's teacher. Isaac has always impressed me, first as an outspoken debater and critical thinker in AP seminar and the school's debate team. Where COVID may have stopped nearly all clubs and extracurricular activities, Isaac found debating, or actually firmly pounding his desk at home during virtual debates with German schools. He also found he can earn an associate's degree from the University of Maryland while in high school simultaneously. This also gave him the time to conduct research and reaffirm his passions in a variety of political topics, writing excellent papers, and bringing great conversations to the class. He loves math and science, hoping to be an engineer at Northeastern University starting this fall. He has helped spearhead honor societies, been a critical member of most of his clubs, and was the most helpful tutors the school has had. Many of your classmates would not have passed my pre-calculus or statistics courses without your help, and they all thank you for it. Isaac is certainly a Martin. All Martins have an incredible wit and humor, coupled with a forced intelligence and insight. They have enjoyed Europe, having lived here or Ramstein for many years. From the moment I met him, Isaac's ability far exceeded my own, and I hope I have prepared him well for whatever future he chooses to have. So Isaac, as you leave to see more of the world and spread your wings and work even harder, remember you have roots. You have a home. I am proud of the young man you have become and prouder of the kinship we have established in these 2 long yet short years. Please welcome Isaac Martin, the class of 2022's valedictorian.
Thank you so much, Copestick. I did the math recently, and I spent over 2,000 hours with Mr. Copestick over the past couple of years, though he was my math teacher, so someone check me on that. I have no idea why I'm speaking to you all now. To be honest, I thought this position was called Valedictorian up until junior year when I found out I was ranked first. But as many of you know, I never pass up an opportunity to speak, so here we are. The label I am most commonly given is arrogant. To keep on theme, though Copestick has already done this for me, let me list off my qualifications for being on this stage. Throughout high school, I took 17 AP classes, founded an honor society, and held leadership positions in half a dozen other societies and clubs. Spent hundreds of hours volunteering and tutoring, and I also got an associate degree. I state these qualifications to contradict myself. While I am undoubtedly the valedictorian of this class, the reason I am up here on this stage, rather than anyone else, are the people around me and the people that I've surrounded myself with. Having a support structure for yourself is vital to your success. No matter who you are, no matter what you are doing, you need people to help and support you. As I've experienced life so far, there are three main groups of people for your support structure: your peers, your friends, and your family. A peer is someone who directly assists you with your academics and or your professional goals. Peers are often a very transactional support. For the help a peer gives you, they expect the same in return, but they are still very important. Often the best peers are people that you don't necessarily get along with, or not traditionally. The peer that first comes to mind is the SHS Salutatorian for 2022, whom you've already heard from. Since the days of getting carried to victory royales and begging to be on the famed Andrew vlogs, Andrew and I have moved to different friend groups. Despite this shift, it has always been a relief to have each other in class, knowing we had someone to bounce ideas off of and to have help for the most heinous of assignments, the group project. The difference between me and a lot of other military brats here is that I have not had to move for nearly 7 years. I have known the same people since middle school. I have had reliable peers since the 6th grade. I have also known about every class and every teacher before signing up for their course. You don't have to be best friends with your peers for them to support you and for you to support them. Your peers are the people you work well with. I cannot express how many people have only ever texted me for homework help, ignoring the obvious courtesy text, but I'm always ready to help and happy to help because it fosters good academic relationships, and that's always beneficial. Oversimplified, a friend is someone who supports you emotionally. Regardless of the size of your friend group, everyone has one. Friends have the widest variety of support structure. To list some examples, Nathaniel Wiglaf Jennings, yet another speaker you've already heard from, is someone I regret befriending every single day. Nate is incredibly extroverted, for the few of you who didn't know, and is one of the only reasons I socialize with new people. That and the fact that Copestick Copestick kept letting Nate bring new people into his seminar. While Nate is crucial to encouraging my socialization, another friend I have immense respect for is yet another speaker. Henry Renninger, as obvious as Henry is about it, Henry has never once let me get away with saying something stupid. For reference, he's the one who taught me how to say valedictorian and then made fun of me for being the dumbest valedictorian for several weeks. But regardless, I hold Henry's opinions in high regard, and his critiques have always been constructive, ensuring that I wouldn't embarrass myself until telling over 1,000 people about it. Before I go on and on, rattling off names, friends cover a significant number of critical components to a good support structure. Without the people who have encouraged me to speak to new people, who have kept me from embarrassing myself as much as possible, and all else that I have to thank them for, I would not be on this stage. The most important, and by far the hardest to come by, part of your support structure is family. As a pillar of support, family is easy to define. The people you can always trust and rely on. For many of you, your family are the people that you have lived with for the past 18 years. However, while I'm fortunate enough to have a very kind and supporting family, it is not necessary to have a good family to start with. To quickly acknowledge a family member of mine, my brother Aiden is the most important person in the world to me. Anytime I have felt too lazy to keep working, I remember all he's accomplished, and I push myself to do more. While my brother and the rest of my household mean the world to me, I have people in this graduating class who I have come to value on a similar level. Those 4 people who I consider family in this graduating class are Lena White, Juliana Prudhomme, Garrett Donahue, and yet another speaker, Jared Galerter. I have known the 4 of them for anywhere between 5 and less than 1 year. None of them just happen to be born into the same household as me, but they provide support as if they did. I know that he'll always be there to support me, and I know I'll do the same for them. Ultimately, my family is responsible for most of my success. All of you are capable of exceeding what you've accomplished so far. This graduation is just a milestone. All of you can still build these supports, even the ones as intimate as family. With that, I would like to give one final thank you to everyone, and I want to thank every single member of the graduating class of 22, and all the faculty, teachers, and parent volunteers. More importantly, to my parents, I am incredibly excited for the next 4 years of my life and the future opportunities that would have never been possible without you. I do not value my position for the reason that it proves me to be the most intelligent. It doesn't. I think that the entire system of grading is flawed, and I recognize the fact that many of the members of this graduating class did not have the capability of being here. Not because that they didn't try hard enough, but because it wasn't possible. I hold that my rank in this graduating class is an ultimate representation of my message, and while you may have not had the same initial support that I did, you can still find these people to help you, and more importantly, you can always be that support for others. Do not underestimate the value that the people in your life have to your success. Thank you.
At this time, Group A, please proceed to the staging area. Remember that the ceremony is still going on, so please remain quiet. Good evening. It is my pleasure to introduce one of our guest speakers tonight. As you already know, traditionally, it's the graduating class selects their keynote speaker, and this year, the class of 2022 overwhelmingly selected not just one, but 2 amazing people that not only have inspired me, but have touched so many lives throughout their journeys. I have the pleasure to introduce the class of 2022 student speaker, Caden Berkman, who in my opinion is beyond his years in leadership, character, service, and scholarship. Appropriately, I could talk about all the accolades he has received throughout his high school career, including an array of scholarships, service, and volunteer awards, his extraordinary leadership in school and community events, and the projects as well as his acceptance into his prestigious Ivy League like Columbia University. However, I would rather spend my shortened time here talking about the amazing mentor, peer, teacher, tutor, friend, and inspirational leader Caden has become through his adventurous journey through his high school years. Perseverance, hardworking, and leading by example set him apart from most people his age. And if I'm going to be honest, my age as well. A dynamic and confident personality that exuberates passion for learning and compassion for others as an illustration for the fine humanitarian he has become. Caden does not know a stranger, and when he walks into a room, he lights it up with his enthusiasm and passion for making others feel comfortable and at ease with any situation. He has gained the respect of his peers and those faculty members he has encountered. And I know tonight he will woo you in with the words of encouragement and transparency of thought. Caden shared these inspiring words with me this year. Words inherently categorize. The verbiage through which we express our thoughts, feelings, emotions, our deepest secrets, gain us the privilege of communication, but is flawed nonetheless. Words place the aforementioned into tangible boxes, separate from others. They allow our expressions to become refined. However, they can never accurately define a feeling, an emotion, a thought, or even a secret. No conglomeration of words and labels can serve a true definition of identity. Caden, I know my words have not expressed near enough who you are or even how much you mean to me, my family, and the people sitting here tonight and who are right here standing in front of me. But I do want you to know the joy you have brought into my life as a teacher, a mentor, and a friend. And just how completely proud I am of you. Thank you for being the extraordinaire you are. Please welcome to the stage, Caden Berkman.
Good evening, parents, teachers, staff, seniors. I would like to take a moment to thank everyone for being here to celebrate our seniors. Tonight, all in attendance compose a memory that will be foundational to the lives of this graduating class. Tonight, we celebrate moving forward. Moving forward with life, in whatever direction that may lead for each student here tonight. Whether that be a gap year, an internship, an Ausbildung, university, community college. Regardless, it's forward motion, a signal of growth, an indicator that life and knowledge compound upon themselves. But tonight we are not here to celebrate only the things to come, but also to celebrate those moments that have passed. The moments that have led up to this point throughout your lives, moments you may not even consider to be important, but have shaped you into the person you are now, sitting in a chair on a parade field, about to cross stage and part ways with a full chapter of your life. As I look throughout the crowd, I see some nodding heads, as expected. That's the common response. Shrug off these 4 years as something that came and went, looking forward to what is in front of you. I understand that entirely, don't get me wrong. I think that we were all feeling a certain degree of senioritis, some of us far before senior year even began. However, I implore you to reflect upon your time here, for the experiences behind you hold the truths to the person you have become, and inevitably, the person you will grow to be. I remember moving to Stuttgart in 7th grade. I was terrified of what was to come. I was coming from a school where I was one of 30 in my class to now a school which had over 300 people in each. On top of that, I was the short kid with subpar social skills and braces to top all that off. I walked into Patch Middle School expecting the worst and only the worst. But on that day, 2 people came and sat next to me at lunch, and we talked throughout the whole duration, throughout mealtime, through recess, about the most random of things. That moment of kindness, that one lunch block, gave me all I needed to know that I could be happy here. I remember walking into the 3-floored concrete jungle of Stuttgart High School my freshman year, unbeknownst to exactly what was to come, but eagerly awaiting it all. More specifically, I remember familiar faces of my middle school friends being in my classes that year, showing me that even with change, some things stay consistent, and those are the ones to keep an eye out for. The ones that stay consistent. That is not to say, however, that it's all so simple. As we as a class were tasked with navigating newfound territory, so was the entirety of the globe. As if high school wasn't hard enough, we were asked to succumb to the reality of the world around us and accommodate our experience accordingly. A global pandemic changed the way we learned and interacted. International conflict altered travel permissions, and political rest in the United States left many here in a state of shock, anxious to return. But through it all, one thing rang throughout our class: unity. I remember being with my friends at the bonfire before homecoming this year. We all sat around the fire after it was lit and exclaimed to each other our optimism for how our senior year was going to be the best. After years of tumult and stress, this would be the year we got it all back. I remember 2 pep rallies and spirit weeks throughout the seasons, though this class did not need all that to express its sheer joy to be united once more. I remember prom, where we gathered almost every senior in the class and had one of the biggest celebrations the school had seen in years. I remember toga days and those weird final weeks after AP exams where everyone was kind of just waiting until we were allowed to leave. I remember walking out of the building together, united once more, sharing melancholy joy, knowing it was one of our last times being together as a class. Faced with monumental challenges that the world struggled with, this class adapted and prevailed. A pandemic did not divide us, but rather taught us the importance of communication and being there for one another. Conflict opened our eyes to the world around us, proving the relevance of current events. And any anxieties felt as a result of those conflicts, we remediated with a collective empathetic attitude, kindness in all of its facets. Each moment in and of itself holds an untold truth of the person that you have grown to be. Maybe you learned the importance of kindness from an exchange in the 7th grade. Maybe you realized that trust and integrity are the key to true friendship after crying on FaceTime with your best friend into the latest hours of night. Maybe you figured out that you're a little bit more of an introvert than you originally thought after 4 months of being locked in your house in 2020. Regardless of your own experience, those moments make you, you. Recall the famous lyric from the musical Rent's Season of Love. 525,600 minutes. 525,000 moments so dear. In an attempt to capture the gravity of a year and the experiences thereof, this lyric breaks it down to each moment individually. 525,600 minutes. Now consider that figure and multiply it by 4. 2,102,400 minutes. This number makes up our past 4 years, our high school experience. It is impossible to remember each and every single moment, but I challenge you to try. I challenge you to scavenge your memory and watch yourself as you progress through high school. Some moments prove to be more momentous than others, but they all have served the same purpose nonetheless. A collection of millions of moments have altered your character, your motivations, your view on the world, and more holistically, they have made you the person you are today, in this chair, on this parade field, about to step into the world. Now think of this moment right now. One step out the door, but stagnant. Hesitation boils within. What shall become of me? Where will I go? What am I going to do? But then excitement seeps in from all sides. Optimism tempers the screeching tones of second guesses, and we're back to this moment. This moment where we stand at the brink of our futures, doors open all around us, welcoming us to the lives we have ahead. This moment. You, in this moment, hold the tools to sculpt the future of your desire. You have worked your entire life to attain those tools, and you sit here now, in this moment, well prepared to use them. But just as a sculptor must remember their strengths, they must also remember their failures and mistakes they've made in the past. In moving forward, it is equally important to hold dear the best and worst of moments, for each teaches an invaluable lesson that will guide you as you continue shaping who you are. Class of 2022, today we celebrate you for all that you have accomplished, all that you've undergone, and all that you have overcame. We sit in admiration of the people you have sculpted yourself to be, who you are in this moment. We are proud of you. We rest easy with the knowledge that you hold the tools now to continue shaping yourself with new experiences, not taking for granted those which have come and gone. 2,102,400 minutes. In less than an hour, that timer goes off, marked by the switching of the tassels, and you're off, free to make your own moments. And as you progress forward throughout life, plunging head first into the tens of millions of moments that lie ahead, think of this moment. Think of all those that came before it. Dream of the ones that come after. And above all, allow each moment to continue sculpting who you are along the way. Thank you all very much for having me here tonight. I'll see you after the final minute has elapsed.
At this time, Group H proceed to the staging area, remember that the ceremony is still going on, so please remain quiet. Good evening, Panther parents, family members, special guests, Stuttgart High School faculty and administration, DODEA leadership, and of course, the class of 2022 graduates. It is a pleasure for me to introduce the class of 2022 commencement speaker. She has been a part of the DODEA family for the past 21 years, serving military-connected students and families with distinction. In 2020, she was selected as the DODEA Teacher of the Year for Europe. Her Teacher of the Year platform was based on her lifelong belief that teaching goes beyond homework and test scores, and mirrored her educational philosophy that is based on building relationships within classrooms and school communities. In her classroom, this manifests itself in everything she does and always has done. Current educational terminology would include a classroom that incorporates social-emotional learning and 21st century education. However, as both her friend and her colleague, I can bear witness to the real classroom experience that a student has in her room. Students are accepted for who they are. They are valued for their individual thoughts, ideas, and their capacity for learning. Students are inspired to become empathetic adults who are thoughtful, caring, and kind. Her students encounter a living role model of grace, intelligence, kindness, and empathy. The classroom environment she creates reflects these values. Her lifelong commitment is to educate the whole child, mind, heart, and spirit. The class of 22 voted and selected her as their choice for faculty keynote speaker. I have chosen Maya Angelou's words rather than my own to solidify why I believe she was their choice. I've learned that people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you make them feel. Tonight's speaker is our own DODEA Teacher of the Year, Dawn McFarland.
I'm glad to see there's already some tissue up here. Listen, parents and graduates, I know you're looking at your programs. We are almost there, I promise you. Good evening, distinguished guests, parents, families, friends, and the graduating class of 2022. And hello to all of my seniors already in the holding area, ready to graduate. It is my distinct honor and great privilege to be here tonight and to share in this celebration of love and achievement with everyone as they watch you graduate from all over the world. Now, this is actually the second time that I am giving a speech in front of graduating students. The first time was in front of my own graduating class, only I wasn't the valedictorian or salutatorian or even the class president. I was a late bloomer. I hadn't yet found my deep love of learning and leadership. that came later for me. At my high school in Tucson, Arizona, one graduation speech was always reserved for any student who was willing to write and give their speech in front of a panel of teachers who would then select a winner. Now, the great opportunity of this platform was that any student was eligible to try out, and I am about to admit something that many would find unmentionable today. I was, by many standard forms of measurement, a very average kid. I took exactly one AP class. I never won any of the offices of student council for which I ran, try as I might, and my SAT score was not something I was sharing with others. Nevertheless, I wanted to give it a shot, and I worked very hard on that speech. Now, some of you may know that I lost my mother very unexpectedly last year, and recounting this next part of the story hits especially close to home, but I want to share it because it illustrates how the small things in life stick with us most, particularly those things in childhood. When I was in high school, my mom and I had many struggles, but despite these struggles and sometimes battles, if I'm being totally honest, I always knew that her love for me was unconditional. So when I knocked on her door late that night, asking her to listen to my speech, she pulled herself out of a deep sleep to listen to me practice. The next morning, when it came to delivering my speech on competition day, seated next to what I felt were the most popular and smarter kids, I was totally nervous and completely intimidated to go up there. But I said, I am going to do this. When I was finished and I was walking back to my seat, one of the most popular guys at school leaned over and said, "Good job, but don't you think that's better for the senior class picnic?" Feeling alone, I slid down a little bit in my seat and I waited for everyone else to finish. Little did I know, I wasn't alone. My mother had in fact snuck into the back of the auditorium, indeed had left work that day to hear my speech. The next day, when my name was announced as the person selected to speak for my class, I was completely blown away. I felt that first powerful life lesson of being courageous enough to believe in yourself and the power of your own voice. Having courage to face uncertainty and fear head on, particularly the courage to believe in yourself, is essential for survival in our world. And I'm not only speaking of survival in the physical sense, as if danger were to present itself, but also in the social and emotional realms as well. It is what you will need to face those big fears in life, which, by the way, will be different for each one of you. But when armed with courage, you will make it to the other side of fear. Now, along with courage, another tool for leading an extraordinary and interesting life is to stay curious about our world. Neil deGrasse Tyson, astrophysicist and planetary scientist, believes that the next generation, and that is you guys sitting right here, have the ability to change our world in so many meaningful ways. Not only in science, but in all ways. We adults, he believes, need to get out of your way and let you explore the world and be curious. And I agree. I treasure a curious mind. As a teacher, one of my favorite things is when a student starts a sentence with, "But what if?" And this happened in my humanities class this year. This happened in my class this year during our photo recreation unit. And the picture that my student was trying to recreate had a mirror and a reflection on it. I was sitting on the floor with him trying to figure out how to just get that bright reflection, and we weren't getting the right result. And all of a sudden, he said, "Miss Mack, what if we had the reflection coming from up above and not on the surface of the mirror? Boom, that was it. It wasn't the fact that I thought that his picture looked just as cool as the original, but the fact that he had figured it out. Anyone who was in my class that day knows exactly how excited I was about that moment. And I probably shouldn't mention his name, Julian Clemens, but boy, that was a highlight of my year. And I think we have a picture. Yes, I'm gonna take a drink. I don't know if you guys can see that in the audience, but that's Julian's picture on the bottom and the original on top. And I actually think his picture looks better than the original. That was on the floor of my classroom. Great job, Julian. Ladies and gentlemen, there are few true equalizers in this life, but trust me, curiosity is one. You don't have to come from money or high social status or have the best grades or work for some top agency to be curious about our world. When it comes to curiosity, everyone is equal. From scientists to social workers, from cashiers to entrepreneurs, anyone can look at our world and wonder how, why. Stay curious. And to fully illustrate this point, I just want to ask the audience, do you know how Velcro was made? By a regular guy going on walks with his dogs, and he would come home and wonder how those little burrs stuck so stubbornly in his dog's fur and on his socks. And he would pull them off and say, I wonder if this concept could work in other ways. Be curious about your world. Stay curious. Now, I've emphasized courage and I've emphasized curiosity. And before I focus on one last thing, graduates, I want to take a moment to just pause for a second and ask you guys to think of others. Because just as you are filled with so many different emotions sitting here tonight, there are others sitting in the audience who are feeling all the feels as they watch you graduate. First up, teachers. For me, and I know I'm not alone in this belief, it is an honor and privilege of a lifetime to be a teacher. Think about it. Every year we get to greet a whole new group of souls coming into our classrooms. We get to know who you are. We see a new world every day through your shared experiences. It is a struggle even for me, an English teacher, to find the words that adequately describe what we teachers feel when we watch our kiddos graduate. Trust me, all the teachers here tonight see infinite potential sitting in your chairs. We teachers care about you. We love you so much. And as we have been your cheerleaders in these school years, please know that long after you leave us, we will continue to root for you. Because once you are in our teacher hearts, you're in there forever. You will always be our kids. And this brings me to the second group I want you to think about tonight. Your family. A family is not only composed entirely of people who are related by blood. Your family is also the people that you choose to be a part of your life. For many parents and families, tonight marks the graduation of their very first child. And as I look out into the audience tonight and I see those parents feeling a mixture of complete and total love and complete and total fear of letting their firstborn go out into this wild and wonderful world. The quotation about having a child is like having your heart step out of your body and walk around comes to my mind. For other families, they are excited to celebrate this occasion again as another child graduates from their family. And we also have parents and families in the audience who are about to celebrate their last and sometimes only child walking across this stage. These parents will soon be empty nesters and begin a new chapter in their lives. Graduates, recognize that your parents and your families are feeling not only pride, but excitement, nerves, and maybe even a little fear watching you take this step. Know that this is the cyclical nature of life and life's big events like graduation. And that really is the most amazing part about all of this, is that it really is all connected. From the different seasons in nature to the different seasons in our lives, we are always hopefully in a state of growth. One of the greatest teachers to ever live, Mr. Rogers, yes, that Mr. Rogers, said, "Often when you think you're at the end of something, you're really just at the beginning of something else." So much of my life, my teaching life, has been influenced by the words of Mr. Rogers, and this brings me to my final key word for tonight, and it's already been mentioned many times: kindness. Mr. Rogers says there are 3 ways to ultimate success. The first is to be kind. The second is to be kind. And the third is to be kind. And I want to be clear about something, because so often the word kindness is misused. Kindness does not mean that you let people take advantage of you. Kindness does not mean that you are being fake or have toxic positivity. True and genuine kindness toward yourself, toward others, toward our planet, true kindness comes from a place of love. So everyone here tonight, and those watching from far away, will you indulge me just one final request tonight? When Mr. Rogers accepted his Lifetime Achievement Award in television, he asked his audience to do what I'm about to ask you to do now. So full credit to Mr. Rogers. Even though there are times in life when we feel alone, perhaps there are times when we feel most alone, it is important to remember those special people who have helped get us to where we are in life. This could be friends, family, teachers, coaches, sometimes people we hardly know can make a difference in our lives. There are even special pets who help us get through some of the most tough days. Those are the souls who have collectively loved us into being who we are tonight. I want all of us to take just 10 seconds to think about those who have loved us into being tonight and loved us into being our very best selves. Some of them may be here sitting in the audience, ready to watch you graduate. Some may be far away, and some indeed may be in heaven, smiling down on you tonight. Let's just take 10 seconds to honor those people who have made the difference. Whoever you were thinking about just now must be so pleased to know that you thought of them tonight. And in return, may you be in the loving thoughts of others throughout your beautiful life. Remember that life, even in its ugly and messy bits, is still a gift. Graduating class of 2022, be courageous, be curious, and be kind. Thank you.
At this time, we will begin the conferral of the graduates.
Patrick Allen. Patrick will be attending Oregon Institute of Technology to study mechanical engineering in order to work in the automotive field. Patrick would like to thank both of his parents and all of his teachers for pushing him to get where he is today and beyond. Logan Orrell. Logan will be attending University of Colorado Boulder to study urban design in order to one day work in the field of civil engineering. Logan would like to thank Mr. Como for making math enjoyable the first time in his education, and to his parents for letting him experience all that life has to offer.
Tiana Armstrong. Tiana will be enlisting in the United States Air Force to work as a registered nurse. Tiana would like to thank Ms. Payne and Frau Charpley and her friends and family for making her last high school year memorable.
Jayla Ashley. Jayla will be attending Florida A&M University to major in accounting, to become an accountant and an entrepreneur. Jayla would like to thank her parents for always supporting her and her siblings. She is grateful for their guidance and unconditional love.
Caden Berger. Caden will be attending Methodist University to study communications in order to one day become a flight attendant to travel the world. Caden would like to thank her family for getting her to this moment, but especially her mother for always pushing her to improve.
Luke Bauer. Luke will be attending University of Arizona to study biochemistry in order to one day become a dentist. Luke would like to thank his parents and teachers for pushing him to be successful and for the many years of support and influence.
Jacqueline Beatty. Jackie will be attending the University of Tampa to study international business. Jackie would like to thank her parents for always being there to help her and being her best friends these last 3 years. She'd also like to thank Mr. Rubino for being her favorite teacher and being there for her, especially when she needed to gossip.
Nicholas Bermudez. Nicholas will be attending North Dakota State University to study computer science before joining the Air Force and one day working in the tech world. Nicholas would like to thank his parents for always having his back no matter what took place over the years.
Kathleen Bishop. Katie will be attending Ramapo College of New Jersey to play volleyball while majoring in management and minoring in sports management in order to one day open her own volleyball club. Katie would like to thank her family for always believing in her and providing her with amazing opportunities. She'd also like to thank Coach Trimble for helping her reach her goal of playing collegiate volleyball and always listening to her daily rants.
Caden Bergman. Caden will be attending Columbia University to study political science before going on to law school in the world of politics. Caden would like to thank his parents for their unconditional support and pushing him to achieve his dreams no matter how far-fetched they may be.
A.C. Burks. A.C. will be taking a gap year to work before attending film school on their way to becoming a screenwriter. A.C. would like to thank their family and friends for always being there, especially today.
Samantha Caldwell. Samantha will be attending University of Colorado, Colorado Springs to study biology on her path to get her doctorate of medicine to become a veterinarian. Sam would like to thank her parents and siblings who have taught her to always have patience and determination.
Aaliyah Calloway. Aaliyah will be taking a gap year to work on her animation portfolio before going on to study animation in her pursuit of one day becoming an animator. Aaliyah would like to thank her mom for teaching her life lessons and for helping her reach her full potential.
Jaslyn Campbell. Jaslyn will be attending University of Colorado, Colorado Springs to study nursing to become a pediatric oncologist nurse. Jaslyn would like to thank her mom and dad for being by her side all throughout high school and encouraging her to do what she wants to do.
Joseph Carroll. Joseph will be attending Virginia Commonwealth University to study fashion merchandising on his path to become a fashion artist. Joseph would like to thank his parents and teachers for believing in him and his skill to get through high school. Special shout out to Chef Hubner for being the best teacher in all of DODEA.
Grace Kavanaugh. Grace will be attending East Carolina University to study hospitality management and music to one day work in music management. Grace would like to thank her friends for the continuous support and acceptance they have given throughout her high school career. She also wants to thank her amazing family who never failed to show her love and to teach her the important lessons of life.
Alexander Christensen. Alex will be attending the College of William and Mary to explore his potential passions and future path. Alex would like to thank his family for believing in and supporting him no matter what.
Julian Clemens. Julian will be joining the military on his path to one day work in the field of psychology. Julian would like to thank his parents and Ms. Juergens for always forcing him to get good grades, even when he didn't want to.
Emma Conga. Emma will be attending Texas A&M at Galveston to study biology in order to become a biotechnician. Emma would like to thank her family for being supportive and pushing her to become a confident person.
Skylar Cooper. Skylar will be attending Howard University to study biology in order to become an OBGYN. Skylar would like to thank God and her mother for believing in her and encouraging her.
At this time, Group B, please proceed to the staging area. Remember that the ceremony is still going on, so please remain quiet.
Caleb Cope. Caleb will be enlisted in the U.S. Navy as a Seabee before working as a mechanic. Caleb would like to thank his parents for being there to help and motivate him.
Megan Cosgrove. Megan will be attending college to study biology on her path to one day becoming a doctor. Megan would like to thank her parents for supporting her often fluctuating dreams and always taking her feelings into account.
Michael Cosmopas. Michael will be enlisting in the United States Air Force. Michael would like to thank his parents for helping him overcome every obstacle and teaching him that it's not about how many times you fail, but about how you respond to be able to learn from your failures.
JP Cox. JP will be taking a gap year to work and take online classes to prepare to join the Air Force in order to become a Russian interpreter. JP would like to thank his parents for always loving him and providing for him.
Miomi Damaso. Miomi will be joining the U.S. Army to work as a career combat medic. Miomi would like to thank her family and her friends for supporting her.
Jada Dickinson. Jada will be attending St. Mary's University to study psychology. Jada would like to thank her parents for their consistent love and support, and her best friend, Taya, for turning every moment into something to laugh about.
Garrett Donahue. Garrett will be attending University of South Florida to study intelligence and analysis to one day work for the NSA. Garrett would like to thank his family, friends, and several teachers that have helped him along the way to reach this graduation stage.
Alyssa Dunbar. Alyssa will be attending University of Maryland Global Campus to study history in order to one day become a high school teacher. Alyssa would like to thank her parents for pushing her to reach her full potential. Samara Elmas. Samara will be attending college to study biology and hopes to one day work in the field of neurology. Samara would like to thank her parents for being there for her and inspiring her to achieve her best.
Alyssa Ellsroth. Alyssa will be taking a gap year to travel before eventually working in the field of hospitality. Alyssa would like to thank her parents for giving her the opportunity to visit new places and experience things that many people never get the chance to.
Yasmin Ferron Ortiz. Yasmin will be taking a gap year to take acting classes in pursuit of eventually working in theater or acting. Yasmin would like to thank her parents for constantly supporting her and helping her to believe in herself.
Tyler Farrar. Tyler will be attending University of Texas, San Antonio to study cybersecurity in order to work in intelligence for the U.S. military. Tyler would like to thank his parents, Coach Jackson, Coach Rat, Trent Jackson, and JoJo for showing him how to be a better person and teaching him the value of the hard right over the easy wrong.
Josiah Favela. Josiah will be taking a gap year to work and hone his language skills before attending college in Italy to study foreign relations and become a diplomat. Josiah would like to thank his mother, stepfather, father, and his brothers and grandmother for supporting his success, and thanks for the endless support throughout his 12 years of school.
Elijah Feber. Elijah will be attending University of Arizona to study cyber operations, defense, and forensics to work in the field of cybersecurity analysis. Elijah would like to thank his mom for always being there to help him in his time of need and to keep him moving forward in school and in life.
William Figueroa. William will be attending State University of New York at Cortland to study sports science to one day work in the field of athletic training. William would like to thank his parents for supporting him in everything he does, as well as his coaches who have been there to mentor him.
Robert Finney. Robert will be joining the U.S. Army as a combat engineer before working in the private military sector. Robert would like to thank his family for making him focus on his goals.
Caitlin Folkers. Caitlin will be attending Eckerd College to study marine science to one day become a marine biologist. Caitlin would like to thank her parents and sisters for always believing in her and supporting her with everything she does.
Frank Fulton. Frank will be attending State College of Florida to study business management and supervision to enable him to work as a contractor for AFRICOM. Frank would like to thank his parents for guiding him through his academic career.
Aiden Forrest. Aiden will be joining the Air Force to work in special operations. Aiden would like to thank his mom for always driving and flying him to all of his fights. To both of his parents, he is grateful for all of their support and for pushing him to be better. He would also like to thank Master Peo at the U.S. Taekwondo Center, Coach Scott Snow, and Coach Alex and Des for standing beside him and training him to fight harder and better than he ever thought he could. Finally, he would like to thank all of his teammates for pushing him to be better and always being there for him.
Sydney Fox. Sydney will be attending Wright State University to study nursing and American Sign Language to become a traveling nurse to help people in third world countries. Sydney would like to thank her mom and dad for helping her get through the good and bad times of high school.
At this time, Group G, please report to the staging area. Remember that the ceremony is still going on, so please remain quiet.
Sophie Galvin. Sophie will be attending St. Olaf College in Northfield, Minnesota to study nursing in order to become a pediatric nurse practitioner. Sophie would like to thank her parents and friends for supporting her in her high school career.
Jared Gerliter. Jared will be attending Washington State University in St. Louis to study biochemistry in order to one day become a doctor in the U.S. Army. Jared would like to thank his parents and his friends for challenging him to succeed.
Sophia Gentili. Sophia will be attending the Air Force Academy to study engineering in order to one day become a flight surgeon. Sophia would like to thank her parents and older sisters for always supporting, trusting, and supporting her.
Ella Gazinski. Ella will be attending University of North Carolina, Charlotte to study mechanical engineering in order to one day work in the European automotive industry. Ella would like to thank her friends and family for supporting her.
Nathaniel Gonzalez. Nathaniel will be attending University of Maryland Global Campus to one day work in the field of biology. Nathaniel would like to thank his parents for continuing to push him when he had no motivation to do anything.
Colton Graham. Colton will be taking a gap year to travel and gain as much cultural experience as possible before adulting. Eventually, he would like to work in engineering or marketing. Colton would like to thank his parents for supporting him in his life and to Miss Bagnashi for doing Miss Bagnashi things.
Catherine Granger. Catherine will be working and attending online school in order to eventually work in the field of forensic or profiling. Catherine would like to thank her parents for being there and putting up with all her struggles.
Nicholas Haller. Nick will be attending Pikes Peak Community College before attending University of Colorado, Colorado Springs to study mechanical engineering. Nick would like to thank his parents for always pushing him to his full potential, Miss McFarland for taking a chance on him at the beginning of the school year, and his friends who have always been there for him.
Gabrielle Hambright. Gabby will be taking a gap year to work while taking online classes on her path to become a translator. Gabby would like to thank her mother and brother for being her biggest supporters and fighters, and her friends for bringing her laughs and memories.
Mia Hammock. Mia will be attending the University of North Texas to study English and secondary education to one day become a secondary English teacher. Mia would like to thank her mom for always pushing her to succeed.
Patrick Harrison. Patrick will be attending George Mason University to study forensic science to one day become a trace evidence expert. Patrick would like to thank his family for supporting him through high school and for the opportunity to live in Germany. He would also like to thank Chef Hubner for encouraging and enhancing his love of culinary. Lastly, he'd like to thank Coach Bowman and Coach King for their time and effort with the Stuttgart High School golf team.
Caroline Hellerstedt. Caroline will be attending the University of Washington to study nursing to one day become a critical care nurse. Caroline would like to thank her dad and her best friends for being her foundational support in life.
Caitlin Hess. Caitlin will be attending Clemson University to study political science to one day become a diplomat with the State Department. Caitlin would like to thank her mother for the sacrifices she has made in order for her to thrive, and her dad for his endless support and guidance throughout her life.
Nathaniel Hickey. Nathaniel has enlisted in the U.S. Marine Corps to work in cybersecurity. Nathaniel would like to thank his parents and brother for supporting him throughout his education and his decision to enlist into the military.
Lita Hilligoss. Lita will be attending Southern Illinois University to study psychology in order to one day become a behavior psychologist for young adults. Lita would like to thank her family, especially her mother, for always making sure she was doing the best she could and for pushing her to be great. She would also like to thank her friends for always staying with her and helping her to succeed. Samuel Holmes. Samuel will be enlisted in the U.S. Air Force to work on aircraft maintenance. Samuel would like to thank Ms. Montano for always having a safe place to eat lunch, and Mr. Celio for always making sure he was doing his work. Samuel would like to thank his mom and dad for always pushing him to do more and work harder.
Alexander Holton. Alex will be attending Penn State University to study aerospace engineering on his path to becoming an experimental space propulsion engineer. Alex would like to thank his parents for setting him up for success and supporting him in their own special ways, his brother for being weird but reliable, and certain special friends who helped and guided him.
Daniel Jameson. Daniel will be attending Nashville College to get a degree in business in order to pursue a career in project management. Daniel would like to thank his parents for always believing in him and supporting him.
Nathaniel Jennings. Nate will be attending James Madison University to study computer science on his path to becoming a software engineer. Nate would like to thank his parents for the constant support they've given him and his friends for watching him grow.
Group C, please report to the staging area.
Elizabeth Johnston. Elizabeth will be taking a gap year to travel and see the world before eventually becoming an elementary school teacher. Lizzie would like to thank her parents for getting her to graduation and taking her around the world.
Samantha Johnston. Samantha will be attending St. Mary's College at Notre Dame to study pediatric nursing. Samantha would like to thank her family for always supporting her in every endeavor.
Jaden Jones. Jaden will be joining the U.S. Air Force as part of the Security Forces team before one day working in local law enforcement. Jaden would like to thank his great teachers like Mr. Lloyd and Coach Rat for giving a fresh perspective on life, and he would like to thank his parents and grandparents for reminding him what's good in life and what's worth fighting for.
Kamarion Jordan. Kamarion will be attending University of Maryland Global Campus to eventually work in the field of business or medicine. Kamarion would like to thank his parents for raising him and for their everlasting patience with him.
Christian Just. Christian will be attending Southeastern University to study kinesiology. Christian would like to first thank God for allowing him to be here today, for God's given supernatural strength to overcome each and every obstacle in his path. He would like to thank his parents for all their support throughout his life. He loves you both and appreciates your effort and love in raising him to be a better individual.
Mackenzie Cap. Mackenzie will be attending Lycoming College to study political science to eventually work for the U.S. government. Mackenzie would like to thank her mother for always supporting her and being a positive influence on her life.
Nathaniel Kaufman. Nate will be attending Gonzaga University to study civil engineering. Nate would like to thank his parents for loving and providing for him, and Coach Burke and Rat for being the best football coaches.
Maya Kindich. Maya will be attending a German college to study business and marketing. Maya would like to thank her family for always supporting her in her decisions and for always pushing her to reach her goals.
Javannery Keogh. Javannery will be attending Sand Hills Community College to study business on her path to open her own boba shop. Javannery would like to thank her parents for making her life a roller coaster ride with many ups and downs. She was also able to enjoy this exciting year with thrills and horror. Javannery is grateful for all the hardships that they helped her overcome.
Sabrina King. Sabrina will be attending Chico State University to to study art and education on her path to becoming a secondary teacher. Sabrina would like to thank her parents for always being supportive of every hobby and interest she has taken, as well as the Berkmans for being those day one friends, greeting them when they arrived and taking them in as family.
Haley Knudsen. Haley will be joining the workforce. Haley would like to thank her family for always supporting her and helping her when times were hard.
Ruby Lafler. Ruby will be attending St. Louis University in Madrid to study health sciences to one day become a doctor. Ruby would like to thank her parents, her family members, and her friends for always believing in her.
Marcus Lane. Marcus will be taking a gap year before attending school to study mechanical engineering. Marcus would like to thank his parents for always pushing him to become something more than he thought he could ever be.
Shay Lamphere. Shay will be attending University of Texas at San Antonio to study environmental science in order to become a researcher. Shay would like to thank her sister Sydney for always supporting her and her parents for always believing in her.
Sydney Lamphere. Sydney will be attending University of Texas at Austin to study neuroscience in order to become a researcher. Sydney would like to thank her sister, Shay, for always being there for her, and her parents for always pushing her to do her best.
Jamie Madeline Lawless. Jamie will be attending Annie Arundel County Community College to study criminal justice in order to one day become a defense attorney. Jamie would like to thank her family for always being there and supporting her dreams.
AJ Lee. AJ will be attending Texas Tech University to study applied physics and economics. AJ would like to thank his dad for instilling self-confidence in him, his mom for being loving and nurturing, and his sister for being his best friend since birth. Finally, he would like to thank his best friend Veronica Flores, whose love and support always inspires him to be better.
Alexander LeMay. Alexander will be attending University of Maine to study history in order to become an officer in the U.S. Army. Alexander would like to thank his family and friends, along with Miss Matney, Chef, and Sergeant Pignon for being supportive during his time at Stuttgart High School.
Trinity Lapine. Trinity will be enlisting in the U.S. Air Force to work in cybersecurity. Trinity would like to thank her parents and the JROTC instructors for making her the person she is today.
Deshaun Lewis. Deshaun will be starting an internship with AFRICOM while taking online associate's classes on his way to becoming a contractor for the U.S. government. Deshaun would like to thank his parents, his family, and his friends that stood by him throughout these 4 years. He would also like to give a special thank you to Ms. D and all the people that helped him get the opportunity to graduate from Stuttgart High School.
Ella Long. Ella will be attending University of Washington in hopes of one day becoming a registered dietitian. Ella would like to thank her parents and best friends for always being understanding and supportive of her goals and ambitions.
Group F, please report to the staging area.
Thomas McGill. Thomas will be joining the U.S. Air Force to become a cryptologic linguist. Thomas would like to thank his parents for believing in him.
Maxwell Maley. Maxwell will be attending University of Maryland Global Campus to one day become an urban planner. Maxwell would like to thank his parents for their assistance and support.
Nigel Marshall. Nigel will be attending college to study computer science in order to one day open a business with his dad. Nigel would like to thank his family and friends for helping him push through school and make it to graduation.
Isaac Martin. Isaac will be attending Northeastern University to study bioengineering to achieve his goal of becoming a bioengineer. Isaac would like to thank his family for all their support throughout the past 18 years.
London Bassey. London will be attending George Mason University to study business marketing and music in order to one day work in the music industry. London would like to thank her family, especially her mom, for always guiding her with such love and care.
Alyssa Maxon. Alyssa will be attending the University of South Florida to study social work in order to become a licensed clinical social worker. Alyssa would like to thank her friends and family for always believing in her.
Jasmine McCode. Jasmine will be taking a gap year to work before enlisting in the Air Force to eventually work in the medical field. Jasmine would like to thank her parents for pushing her to do things she didn't think she could do, and her siblings and friends for supporting her decisions.
Jason McCole. Jason will be working before enlisting in the U.S. Air Force to work in the field of technology. Jason would like to thank Ms. Mack, Ms. Jones, and Ms. Matney for making sure that he graduates.
Madeline McDaniel. Madeline will be attending North Carolina State University to study engineering in order to one day become a structural engineer. Madeline would like to thank her family for always supporting her, even when Catan got dicey.
Gavin McGurk. Gavin will be attending Kansas University to study political science before enlisting in the U.S. Army. Gavin would like to thank both of his parents for always pushing him to do his best and believing in him.
Mariah McKinney. Mariah will be attending Texas Tech University to study early childhood education to one day become a second grade teacher. Mariah would like to thank Miss Matney for helping her in the past 3 years with anything she needed. She'd also like to thank her mom for always believing in her and supporting her in anything she wants to do.
Andrew McNally. Andrew will be attending Illinois State University to study cybersecurity to one day work for the U.S. government. Andrew would like to thank his parents for giving him the opportunity to travel the world.
Jeremiah Metler. Jeremiah will be attending Austin College to study chemistry to one day become a pharmaceutical chemist. Jeremiah would like to thank all of his teachers who have helped him through his education, his friends for bringing happiness into his life, and his family for their endless and continuous support.
Ariel Miles. Ariel will be attending Pepperdine University to study elementary education in order to become an elementary school teacher. Ariel would like to thank her parents for supporting her in whatever she chooses to do, and her Aunt Katie for being one of her most positive influences.
Jacob Montano. Jacob will be attending DigiPen Institute of Technology to study game design in order to become a game designer. Jacob would like to thank his parents for always encouraging him to push himself further and to pursue his dreams.
Matthew Montano. Matthew will be attending University of Tulsa to study computer science. Matthew would like to thank his family for tolerating the messiness, both literally and figuratively.
James Montoya. James will be attending Pensacola Christian College to study pre-med in order to become a doctor one day. James would like to thank his parents for helping him get through school.
Connor Morris. Connor will be studying psychology or English. Connor would like to thank his parents and brother for always supporting him, no matter what.
Mia Mosby. Mia will be attending the University of Missouri to study international business and management and sports medicine in order to one day work with FIFA or the Olympic Games. Mia would like to thank her parents and friends for the continuous support throughout her journey and helping her pursue her dreams.
Olivia Munoz. Olivia will be taking a gap year to get a job on her way to working in either the field of cosmetology or culinary arts. Olivia would like to thank her friends and family for helping her to not give up and to believe that she can do anything she puts her mind to.
At this time, Group D, please report to the staging area. Remember that this ceremony is still ongoing, so please remain quiet.
Amy Munson. Amy will be attending Trinity College Dublin to study engineering to eventually work in the field of bionics or prosthetics. Amy would like to thank their parents and their continued support with everything.
Abigail Murphy. Abigail will be attending Texas Tech to study biology before attending medical school to one day become an OBGYN. Abigail would like to thank her parents for always supporting her and her brothers for pushing her to be better.
Lillian Myrice. Lillian will be attending University of Cincinnati to study architectural engineering. Lillian would like to thank her mom and aunt for helping her apply for college and work hard to achieve her goals for a bright future.
Cole Nelson. Cole will be attending the University of Colorado, Colorado Springs to study criminal justice, to work in cybercrime and security. Cole would like to thank Chef Huebner for being the most down-to-earth and real teacher he has ever had and appreciates her talking to students like they are adults.
Nellie Goma. Nellie has enlisted in the U.S. Army and will eventually attend college to study communications and art in order to one day become a journalist. Nellie would like to thank her parents for always pushing her and helping her be at her best.
Abigail Nimrod. Abigail will be attending Luther College to study biology and exercise science to become an oncologist or physical therapist. Abigail would like to thank her family for supporting her and pushing her to succeed.
Trygve Olsen. Trygve will be attending Virginia Tech for neuroscience in order to one day become a neurosurgeon. Trygve would like to thank his parents and teachers for always motivating him to work hard and helping him through the past 4 years, academically and athletically.
Reginald Overstreet. Reginald will be taking a gap year to work while taking community college courses to further his goals of becoming a software developer. Reginald would like to thank his family for investing and believing in him and his future.
Ariel Perez Nieves. Ariel will be attending University of Mary Hardin Baylor to study nursing to become an anesthesiologist. Ariel would like to thank her parents who supported her throughout her journey and for what they sacrificed to help her. She would also like to thank her friends and siblings for tagging along with her and creating fun memories together.
Jordan Pope. Jordan will be taking a gap year to work and study before starting a career in graphic design or computer science. Jordan would like to thank his parents for supporting him throughout his school career.
Juliana Prudhomme. Juliana will be attending University of Texas, Austin to study nursing in order to one day work as a surgical nurse. Juliana would like to thank her family for always pushing her to do her best and her friends for always being there to support her.
Samuel Raditz. Sam will be attending Radford University. Sam would like to thank his parents for their help in keeping him on track in his studies.
Patrick Reeves. Patrick will be taking a gap year to travel while taking online courses before one day becoming a chiropractor. Patrick would like to thank his mom and sisters for always pushing him and believing in him, even when he didn't. He would also like to thank both of his coaches for pushing him both on and off the field.
Henry Reniger. Henry will be attending Northeastern University to study computer science and mathematics in order to work in the field of software engineering and data science. Henry would like to thank his teachers, parents, and friends for all of the love and support in every little thing that helped him stand on this big stage today.
Aiden Rodriguez. Aiden will be taking a gap year to work before studying forensic science in order to one day become a forensic analyst. Aiden would like to thank his parents for believing in him and pushing him even when it got difficult.
Cameron Rogers. Cameron will be moving to Seoul to play hockey for the Seoul Wolves before one day playing professional hockey. Cameron would like to thank his parents and Mr. McAdagum for helping him along his high school journey, and much more.
Gwendolyn Rush. Gwen will be attending University of Maryland Global Campus to study science and secondary education in order to one day become a high school science teacher. Gwen would like to thank her parents for encouraging her to continue to follow her passions and to work hard to achieve her goals. Gwen would also like to thank Team G supporters for making it one of the best semesters.
Ari Salazar. Ari will be attending Oklahoma Christian University to study nursing on her path to becoming a pediatric nurse. Ari would like to thank her parents for continuously supporting her, even when it was difficult. To all of her teachers and friends, near and far, for getting her to this point.
Jordan Sanders. Jordan will be attending University of Colorado Boulder to study chemistry to work in the field of science. Jordan would like to thank his parents and all of his teachers he's had at Stuttgart High School for all of their help in motivating him to pursue a college education and keep on striving to be and do better as a person.
Mateo Sandoval. Mateo will be attending University of North Texas to study cybersecurity before joining the U.S. Air Force. Mateo would like to thank his parents and siblings for being there for him and helping him in every step of the way.
Grace Shad. Grace will be attending Messiah University to study athletic training in order to one day become a collegiate or professional athletic trainer. Grace would like to thank her family, friends, and teachers for always believing in her even when she didn't, and for always having her back.
At this time, Group E, please report to the staging area. Remember that the ceremony is still ongoing, so please remain quiet.
Anna Schudel. Anna will be taking a gap year to travel and grow in her faith through ministry before attending Wheaton College to study political science in order to one day become a journalist. Anna would like to thank her parents and friends for always supporting her in her goals and pushing her to excel in everything she does.
Rachel Schuneman. Rachel will be attending the University of Maryland to study graphic design in order to one day become a graphic designer. Rachel would like to thank her family for always being by her side and supporting her through the nice and the not so nice times.
Rebecca Schuneman. Rebecca will be attending University of Maryland Global Campus to study agricultural engineering to one day become a farmer. Rebecca would like to thank Mr. Magda and all of her teachers for helping her on questions that she got stuck on and for being kind to her. She would also like to thank her parents for always being there for her.
Yarez Segning. Jojo will be attending Manhattan College, New York to study biology in order to one day work as a pediatric doctor. Jojo would like to thank his parents, all of his coaches, and the great friends that have made his senior year great.
Elijah Sieb. Elijah will be attending Virginia Commonwealth University to study pediatric nursing. Elijah would like to thank Ms. McFarland for pushing him every class. She showed kindness and patience in every action, always going out of her way to make each and every one of her students feel like they belong. Ms. McFarland, Elijah will never forget the support you gave him through every high and low of his senior year. Thank you.
Peter Siebentrit. Peter will be attending James Madison University to study computer science in order to one day work in cybersecurity. Peter would like to thank his parents for always being there to support him and pushing him to do well in school. He would also like to thank the music teachers for motivating him to continue his pursuit of music.
Dominic Sieber. Dominic will be joining the German Navy as either a translator or in logistics. Dominic would like to thank Ms. Patterson and Ms. Sims for helping him through the tough times.
Lana Signer. Lana will be attending Florida State University to study nursing in order to become a pediatric nurse. Lana would like to thank her teachers and counselors for supporting and guiding her through high school, her sisters for being her best friends, and her parents for always loving and carrying her through life. She loves you both endlessly and hopes to make you proud.
Joshua Cinco. Joshua will be attending San Jose State University to study behavioral science on his path to earning a PhD in behavior psychology to one day become a psychiatrist. Joshua would like to thank his siblings for giving him the motivation to keep moving forward in school and also within his personal life. He'd like them to know that they are the reason why he is on this stage today and then the person he has become. He would also like to thank his parents for providing everything he needed to succeed and for supporting everything that he did.
Kaysen Smith. Kaysen will be attending Texas State University to study kinesiology in order to one day become a physical therapist personal trainer. Kaysen would like to thank his parents for the support they gave him throughout high school.
Elijah Smith. Eli will be enlisted in the U.S. military as a mechanic and continue mechanical work for the Department of Defense. Eli would like to thank his family and friends for getting him through this year. He would also like to thank the people that taught him things outside of school. Eli would like to give a special thank you to Mr. Garrett and Coach Jackson for helping him better his path in life and to see the pleasant things.
Joshua Smith. Joshua will be attending University of Colorado, Colorado Springs, to study engineering and data analytics in order to one day start his own product design business. Joshua would like to thank his parents for always being dependable and willing to help regardless of what's going on.
Nakara Smith. Nakara will be attending Texas Tech to study psychology to one day become a criminal psychologist. Nakara would like to thank her mom and sister for always pushing her outside her comfort zone to be the best person she can be.
Riley Smith. Riley will be enlisting in the U.S. Army Airborne to work as a human resources specialist. Riley would like to thank his family, friends, and teachers for helping him graduate.
William Stegmartin. William will be attending Kent State University to study aeronautics in order to become a commercial pilot. William would like to thank his parents and is extremely grateful for the help they have given him throughout his entire life. He couldn't have made it here without their help.
Olivia Sullins. Liv will be attending the University of North Georgia to study strategic and security studies to one day become an intelligence officer in the United States Army. Liv would like to thank her parents for always providing advice from their own experiences and allowing her to choose her own future.
George Swabata. George will be attending Collin College to study social work. to one day become a caseworker specializing in youth populations. George would like to thank his friends and family for having his back throughout school.
Olivia Tabaka. Olivia will be attending Appalachian State University. Olivia would like to thank her dad for giving good advice and always pushing her to do better.
Amar Taharovich. Amar will be attending Bucknell University's College of Management while also playing for their D1 tennis team before eventually working in the field of finance or accounting. Amar would like to thank his parents and friends for always bringing the best out of him and pushing him each day to reach an even bigger level than where he is at now.
Arissa Terry. Arissa will be attending Florida Gulf Coast University to study nursing to become a pediatric oncology nurse. Arissa would like to thank her parents for their compassion and moral support, and Miss Payne for being the mentor who drives her education. Alexis Thompson. Alexis will be attending University of Kentucky to study psychology. Alexis would like to thank her family and Coach Jackson for always giving advice and motivating her to do her best in the present and in the future.
Luke Thompson. Luke will be attending University of Utah to study mechanical engineering before joining the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. Luke would like to thank all of his family, from his parents to his grandparents, as they all have given him the motivation to pursue his dreams.
Maria Tortorelli. Maria will be attending Franciscan University of Steubenville to study political science and criminal justice before joining the U.S. Air Force in order to eventually pursue a career in the State Department. Maria would like to thank all of her teachers, especially Mr. Copestick and Miss Payne, for making learning fun, her family, Sergeant Pignon and Mr. McAdagum for their support, and God for his incredible love.
Cadence Travers. Cadence will be attending California State University, San Marcos to study business management. Cadence would like to thank his parents for always pushing him to be better and supporting him through every decision.
Georgi Seratelli. Georgi will be attending Virginia Tech to study physics in order to one day become a pilot in the U.S. Air Force. Georgi would like to thank his grandparents, parents, and sister as they've each taught him valuable lessons. He'd also like to thank Maddie for always being his cheerleader.
Jaden Turner. Jaden will be attending University of North Texas to study journalism, to work as an investigative journalism. Jaden would like to thank her parents for supporting her and always pushing her to advocate for others.
Katya Valentin Quintero. Katya will be attending Rutgers University, Newark, to study radiology and to one day become an ultrasound technician. Katya would like to thank her parents for bringing her into this world. Even though her parents are not perfect, they have been a huge support for her through her 12+ years of education. Every little event she has, they are always there to support her through the goods and the bad. She would also like to thank the teachers who have supported her with her studies and have dealt with her crazy ideas.
Anna Vernetti. Anna will be attending St. Mary's College of Notre Dame, Indiana, to study biology to work in the field of medicine. Anna would like to thank her family for supporting her throughout her life and her teachers for challenging her in school.
Evan Vertuli. Evan will be attending West Point to study defense and strategic studies to one day become a career officer in the Army. Evan would like to thank his parents for always supporting him in every way.
Andrew Wagner. Andrew will be attending University of Virginia to study computer science in order to work in the field of software development. Andrew would like to thank his parents, sister, and grandparents for their sustained optimism and support in his athletic and academic journey.
Cadence Wall. Cadence will be attending Fordham University on an NROTC scholarship to study political science and to one day become a lawyer. Cadence would like to thank her parents for always forgiving, loving, and supporting her, and to her bed because of sleep.
Alyssa Caspian Wayner. Caspian will be taking a gap year to work before going on to eventually work in aerospace engineering. Caspian would like to start by thanking their parents for pushing them with love to be the best that they can be. They would also like to thank everyone else in their life for underestimating them when times got rough, because every time they proved them wrong and they are far stronger than they could have been.
Elliot Wobblehorst. Elliot will be attending Heidelberg Language School before going to a visual arts college in Berlin to study illustration on his path to becoming an artist. Elliot would like to thank his parents and his girlfriend for always having his back and being supportive.
Asia Watson. Asia will be attending Auburn University to study agricultural business and economics to one day open her own coffee shop. Asia would like to thank her parents and brother for seeing her potential and pushing her past her limits to do great things. She would also like to thank Coach Julie and Miss Yakiri for helping her with the college process.
Amelia Wetzel. Amelia will be attending Bates College to study biochemistry to one day work in the field of medicine. Amelia would like to thank her parents and teachers for motivating and supporting her throughout the year.
Lena White. Lena will be attending the University of Vermont to study physics in order to become a researcher. Lena would like to thank her mom for always being her anchor, her dad for always making her laugh when she's stressed, and Mr. Kopstick for being her mentor for the past 3 years.
Anna Williams. Anna Lee will be attending Toccoa Falls College to study youth ministry to one day become a youth pastor. Anna Lee would like to thank her parents and her sisters for always pushing her to be the best that she can be.
Emma Williams. Emma will be attending Young Harris College to study creative writing in order to one day become an author. Emma would like to thank her parents for always believing in her passion and her 2 sisters for always being there.
Violet Maria Williams. Violet Maria will be attending Middle Tennessee State University to study art education on her path to becoming an art history teacher for DODEA. Violet Maria would like to thank her parents for supporting her choice of study and believing in her to reach her goals and her full potential.
Madeline Williamson. Madeline will be attending Virginia Tech to study pre-vet science in order to become a small animal veterinarian. Madeline would like to thank Mr. Kopstick for his uplifting motivational speeches, as well as teaching her invaluable lessons in both academics and life. She would also like to thank Georgie for always showing her the utmost support.
Alexander Wing. AJ will be attending college to become a pilot. AJ would like to thank Coach Ratt for teaching in a fun way and helping him change, and to SHS administration and teachers for the help they gave him in tough times. Lastly, AJ would like to thank his mom for encouraging him to keep going.
This is the moment that we've all been waiting for. Seniors only, please rise. In a few moments, all of you will begin another chapter in your lives. May you always experience fair winds and following seas. Godspeed to you all. Mr. Sanchez, I testify that the transcripts of these students have been reviewed, and I certify that these seniors have met the graduation requirements of the Department of Defense Education activity. And so, on behalf of the DODEA Director, Mr. Tom Brady, Europe Director of Student Excellence, Dr. Michelle Howard-Haney, and the DODEA East Superintendent, Mr. Steve Sanchez, I now have the honor and privilege to announce that you, as members of the class of 2022, are graduates of Stuttgart High School. Ladies and gentlemen, the 2022 graduate class of Stuttgart High School.
Okay, families, thank you all for a beautiful evening. Please be careful leaving our field and remember to take all of your belongings, including your graduates. Seniors attending Disneyland tomorrow, please be at the bus at Stuttgart High School at 2 a.m. 0200. The bus will leave at 0300. Seniors, please pick your transcripts up over here before you leave. After tonight, they'll be available in the main office. Thank you all so much.